they said, man, they've been talking to Blessed Mother. And I said, yeah, I heard the rumor. And they said, you don't believe? And I said, there's no way the Blessed Mother's showing up 2,000 years later. I mean, just come on, y'all. Medjugorje kind of came to our neck of the woods, which is New Orleans, Baton Rouge area, early at the start. It was in the year 2000 that I first came, but it was at the insistence of my father, right? We had a small family business, and so, in short, we could take water from sewer plants and reuse it for golf courses, neutral grounds, car washes, so that we could continue to drink our potable water while keeping non-potable for other means. The fact of the matter is my father developed about 20 patents, intellectual property, absolutely brilliant man. He was truly the head of the patriarch of our family and our business. My mom was the heart. We were growing leaps and bounds. I graduated in college in, 83, 84. Graduated on Friday. We started the business on Monday. We did work in South Louisiana and then down to South Florida and then up and down the East Coast, West Coast. We went overseas, New Zealand, et cetera. Well, as the trappings got bigger, so does the money. So with being very prudent here, wine, women, and song, I had the Harley, I had the ragtop Jeep, I had the car, I had the custom-made suits, the guy with the closet, And as a result, not so much women in every port, maybe every other port, okay? And my father sees that I'm going astray. He's born and raised Catholic, my mom. My dad is a very big man, very aggressive, very, very intellectual, had one of those Mensa IQs. My mother's about 5 foot tall on a good day, and high school sweethearts, teeth in a gear. So they see I'm going astray because just the world's spinning too fast. And he walks into my office one day and he says, and I called him Chief affectionately. He said, I need you to do something. I said, okay, Chief, what you need me to do? And he said, I need you to go to that place, Medjugorje. The Blessed Mother's appearing there. And I remember thinking, oh my God, our best players lost it, okay? So how do I hide this from board of directors and financiers and bankers and developers? I mean, how do we keep that a secret? Because he's everything. He says, no, I want you to go to Medjugorje. And I'm thinking, I never even really heard of it. So I said, what are you talking about? And he said, man, the Blessed Mother's appearing there. I said, the Blessed Mother's appearing in this, quote, God-forsaken country, end quote. And he said, that's what I understand. I'd like you to go. I said, Chief, we have up 10 million jobs going on. We got personnel here, there, and wherever. We have litigation going on, and it's significant. It's a significant 7-digit number. I said, Chief, he said, son, I need you to think about it. I need you to think hard about it, which is his way of saying you're going to be going. You just haven't figured it out yet. So he leaves, and within seconds, I pick up my phone. I call a friend of mine, John Valenti, who owned a furniture store. And at night, I would help him make deliveries because he needed help to start his business. I was probably the best dressed delivery boy in the whole city. But notwithstanding, so I called him and said, John, what do you know about Medjugorje? And he said, oh, my sisters swear by it. I said, John, your sisters swear by everything. That's not even relevant. And he said, look, get the book, Queen of the Cosmos. And I said, okay. He said, I'm telling you, go get it. So, believe it or not, I decided I'm just going to go pick it up. So I drive to the bookstore, among other things. I pick it up. I read almost half of it in the store. And it's written, as you may know, as kind of like a deposition from the ages of when they were 9 to 16. What's her hair color? Black. What's her eye color? Blue. How tall is she? 5'8". And they're all reading this, right? And answering these questions independently. And man, I got enamored with it. And I just remember thinking, there is no way she's doing this. Well, my dad, the following day or whatever, he said, you giving it some thought? And I said, Chief, come on, think about what we're doing here. I said, you want me to fly halfway across the country to see if the Blessed Mother's showing up? She's 2,000 years late. Why to them? Why not me? Why not New Orleans? I tell you, better yet, let's split the difference. We'll go to New York, find 6 people and convince them. And he said, I just need you to go. Now, unbeknownst to me, him and Mama had the discussion that it's too much of this, that, and the other. And we're losing him. 30 days later, I decided I'm going to go ahead and go. So I called one of the travel agencies down in New Orleans and said, look, is there a group going there? And they said, well, absolutely. And so, but we leave in about a week and a half, 10 days. and there's about 30 people. We got one spot left. And I said, okay, well, put me on it. And the group that I was supposed to meet, we're ultimately going to now meet in Atlanta. They had to put me on another flight. So we fly out of New Orleans to Atlanta. I get to Atlanta. They've already left on the next flight to LaGuardia. I said, but there's plenty of layover. I catch them there. Well, I get to Atlanta and I fly to LaGuardia, and when we get there, they've already left. We've missed the flight again. And I'm thinking, nobody has this many oopses in a row. I mean, come on now. At some point, we're all big boys in here. Surely we can figure out how to make sure we connect the flights. So I've missed them now for, the third flight in a row. So I get there to LaGuardia, to Paris. And, there's nobody there. My group is already, they're gone to the next flight. My luggage is missing, go figure. And so I've got to get away into Split. And so I go to the ticket counter, and they're informing me that there is tomorrow. We fly out tomorrow. Man, I come unglued on the lady behind the counter that I'm not flying out tomorrow. My argument is I'm going to go meet Visionary. So you can imagine how that sold. And they said, well, we're going to fly you to northern Germany to, I forgot where else I was going to go, and then from there into Split, and you'll catch a bus ride into Split. And I said, so that's your plan. So I go to sit down, and then after about 40 minutes, I realize, let's just go. Let's just cut our losses. We're going back home. I don't have any luggage. I don't know anybody. So I'm actually walking out, and there's this group of about 10 ladies that are all sitting in a semicircle, and they have these little pens of gospel. And the only reason I recognize it because I read the book, Queen of the Cosmos. And I remember running up to one of the ladies sitting on the end. Man, are you going to Medjugorje? And man, she just froze. She just stared at me. And so, man, next thing I know, these ladies are yelling for their husbands and this, and man, there's people coming out the woodwork. I assume there's going to be a big brouhaha right in the middle of the airport. And finally, this priest comes out, and he said, son, man, easy does. I said, look, Padre, it's real simple science. You going to Medjugorje? And I said, Padre, how hard is this for you? He said, okay, son. He said, look, why are you so angry? I said, I don't have the time to explain how I got to be this way, much less the trip I just endured. He said, but yes, we're going to Medjugorje. And so we finally get there, and I remember getting to the house, and everybody's tired, and they were giving us something to eat, and the lady that was the head of the house said, I need you to go to your friends. And I said, ma'am, I don't have any friends. I remember knocking on the door, rolling up my sleeves so that everybody can see I don't have nothing. The door opens up, and the lady says the best words I've ever heard in my life, you must be Mark Beard. And she says, man, come in, your friends are all here. And I said, ma'am, I get you, but I don't know these people. I'm just on the tour group. And she goes, well, man, welcome to Medjugorje. And she's going to this long diatribe. And I said, please stop. I get you. I'm not going to buy the magazine. I just don't buy it. And she said, okay. She goes, well, look, so just stay downstairs and, have some coffee. So I remember having coffee. Some of the people were still up, and they said, man, so you're Mark Beard, you were supposed to be going with us? And I said, yeah, and I missed y'all, yada, yada, yada. And they said, oh, you're going to love it here. And I said, man, I hate it already. I ain't even been here a couple hours. And they said, man, they've been talking to Blessed Mother. And I said, yeah, I heard the rumor. And they said, you don't believe? And I said, there's no way the Blessed Mother's showing up 2,000 years later. Just come on, y'all. Pick a spot. Really? And so, of course, the next morning, everybody's all happy because they slept. I'm in my same clothes. I have nothing else to offer. And, of course, of all people we meet that day, we go meet the visionary Visca, which is, I got to tell you, I've met a lot of people that have joy in their heart and happy-go-lucky, but I've never met anybody that glows like that. But I'm a Thomas. If I had lived in the time of Thomas, we would think Thomas is the rock. I'm just where I'm at. And so she's praying to everybody, and she's talking about heaven, hell, and purgatory. She saw it. And I remember, because I love to memorize. So, man, I remember reading the book, Queen of the Cosmos, and I remember that passage. And I'm thinking, okay, well, but you know what? Come on. I want to see your house. I want to see your car. I want to see your TV. I want to see, I want to see what you drive. I want to see everything, right? Nobody's doing this for God and country. And she makes the statement, I'm going to pray with y'all 2 by 2. I remember thinking, oh, this is great. We're going to be like Noah and the animals, and she's going to pray on us 2 by 2. And unfortunately, I must have been saying that out loud because the lady next to me got really perturbed. And she said, oh, oh my God, And so I remember watching Visca pray, and I remember a minute and a half. I started timing her. And I said, man, there's 50, 60 people out here. That's 30 people minimum each time, minute and a half. That's a good 45 minutes to an hour. She's cutting her losses. She looks tired. We're going to find out real quick this dog's not hunting. Man, I got in line halfway through, and I remember looking behind me, so I got out of line and want to make sure I'm the last guy. I don't want nobody leaving till I get my minute and a half. So when she finally gets up, and man, when I tell you, when she prays over you, when she puts her hand on your head, she squeezes it like a grape. And I remember being unsettled by it, but I'm watching, I want my minute 10. Sure enough, I got my minute and 10. And so, man, I'm walking away, and of course the group that I'm with, the one I traveled with, what do you think? What do you think? I said, look, I get you, but come on, y'all. I mean, we just prayed together. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate her staying. I mean, goodness gracious, hour and a half, whatever. So they said, man, we're going to walk across the field, and we're going to meet, I think, it's Ivanka, I think is how I'll probably mispronounce it. And so she has her children playing, and there's 5 or 6 translators. There's German, there's English, there's Italian, there's probably Spanish, etc. And the lead translator says that she prefers just to answer questions. And so, poof, this is my 15 minutes of fame. So I remember raising my hand saying, and look, this is how it's written in Queen of the Cosmos as memory recalls. She is 14 or 15 at the time, maybe 16 at best. Her mother has passed. As a result of her mother passing, about 30 or 40, 60 days later, the apparitions start. When she sees the Blessed Mother, she asked about her mother. Her mother says she is with us in heaven. I'll bring her tomorrow. The next day, she gets to see her mom, who looks great. She looks different. She looks transformed, I guess. So being that I love to memorize and it's easy, I remember saying, I got a question. And so the translator stepped up, and I remember saying, man, look, I'm sorry about hearing about your mom passed away, but let's be honest. I could care less. I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm just being polite. I need to cut my losses. I need to get home. We got work to do. We got people to feed. And I said, so, man, I understand your mom passed away. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. The Blessed Mother, when you asked about your mom, said she'd get back to you. A couple of days later, she says she'll bring your mom 2 days later. So, and I'm going, and she's just listening. Now, if you notice closely, man, I lied just enough on each little thing just to get you to buy into the argument. Then I can say, good, I'm done. Thank you. This ain't got nothing to do with the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. So, man, I don't get through when she doesn't even wait. She, being Ivanka, doesn't even wait for the translator to jump in. She's out the box. She is correcting every statement, every innuendo, every misstatement, every misleading statement. I mean, to a point where I remember looking around and everybody began moving away. Like he's going to die. It's the scorched earth mentality. Just let him die by himself. And I remember thinking, okay, now that's impressive. And I remember thinking, that's her house. Man, wow, that's not something that you and I would readily jump into and say, oh, man, we got to live there. And, man, I noticed that what she's driving isn't something that I would look towards. And so next thing you know, I'm walking away, and everybody's thinking, man, you believe now? And I got to admit, I'm on my heels now. That next day, I went to every cab owner, restaurant owner, classmate. I want to talk. I want to know everything. And, man, there's no movie deal. There's no book deal. There's no fancy car, television, whatever. But I got to tell you what wins the day. Notwithstanding the dynamic and the charism of the visionaries, what wins the day is the people. When I start looking that they're giving up their homes to put people in their houses, and you're giving up your farmland, which means you're selling your child's inheritance, that if this is a lie, and once the lie breaks, you'll never be able to put your finger back in the dam. It's done now, because you can't just pull up a slab or stop doing what you're doing and start growing crops. When I started seeing the masses were packed, I go to confession for the first time in forever. Their lines are 20 and 30 deep. And I remember just being marveled by it. And of course, this is only like day 1 or day 2. By day 3 or 4, I've interviewed, I don't know how many taxi cab drivers and restaurant owners. And I mean, I'm talking to everybody. By the 4th day, I don't want to leave. And I make the phone call. I call back in the day. Y'all had like one public phone, right? And it was back in the day, it was rotary. And I remember dialing it. My father picks up. My father picks up. He said, son, yes or no? They telling the truth? And I remember I started to run off the reservation. Man, he jumped. I mean, you could have thought he climbed through the phone. Son, I'm not going to ask you again. I need an answer, yes or no. And I said, Chief, they're telling the truth. Papa, the masses are packed. Everybody's at mass. I remember, I think vaguely one time when there was an apparition going on and the bells ring, everybody stopped moving. And less me, because I'm not paying attention. I can't understand what they're doing. And I remember going home, man, I'm dating a young lady. We're going down a whole nother path. And you go back home, and next thing you know, I'm studying everything because nobody's teaching. Let me rephrase. That's not fair to my brother priest. Fulton Sheen was right, and I pray people remember this. I've met 200 people in my life that hate the church and 20 million people that have misunderstood her. That's a true statement. So I went to Catholic schools my whole life, but nobody's ever explained why we do what we do. And so, man, I just started studying. My girlfriend notices that things are not always the same. On Thursday night, I don't want to go to ladies' night. I want to go to a church that used to leave the back of the door open. And I would go sit in there because I just loved the quiet. And the more I studied, the more I felt. I felt that pull. And now by this time, goodness gracious, it's 2003. So I've been home maybe 3 or 4 years, but it's never left. I'm going to Mass on the weekends. I'm starting to reach out to other priests that I know that I think I can trust. And I remember thinking, man, in 2003, I need to know this. I just need to know. I don't think I want to be a priest because, like I told the Protestant minister before I left Medjugorje, he said, man, do you ever realize, he said, you're the only man in this whole group? And I said, really, I hadn't had time to pay attention. He said, man, you're supposed to be a priest. And I remember telling him, no money, no women, no fun, no thank you, right? And look, right? I spent my entire life chasing women wear dresses. Now I wear one. Go figure. Right? And so I remember just thinking, I need to resign so that I could go figure this out. It took me 1 year to resign to my father. I even wrote the resignation out because I wanted to do it very formal, but still hand it to him because I know his nature. And so I remember having to change the date. And he reads the first sentence in every paragraph, and I'm sitting waiting for him to give me the business because that's why I gave you the business, son. So what are you doing? And he handed it to my mom, and he looked at me and he said, man, what took you so long? And I remember almost, I still get choked up about it because it was so not of his nature. And I said, man, you've been knowing us this whole time? And he said, son, man, we know our children. And I said, well, when did you know? He said, when you came back. He said, the world turned different for you. He said, I didn't have to remind you about Mass. I didn't have to remind you about this or that. And I'm thinking, wow. And he said, you need to at least try. He said, I don't know if it's for you. Now, my mom's reading the letter. Now, she reads every line. She's commenting on the fact that I made commas and mistakes. And she says, now, priests can't date. Okay? And I remember thinking, this is my Italian mom, God bless her, right? And I said, look, I'm just going to try it. I don't think it's for me because I just don't think it's for me. I remember having to sit down with my girlfriend at the time, and she was great about it, far better than I would have been if I'd gone to her and she told me she wanted to be a nun. I would have lost it. And she said, look, you need to know because if you need to do this, then you need to know because we don't need this between us. So I go. I don't start until January because I only want to go for a semester. That way I can check the block. And I have to laugh because we still were in contact with one another as this is going on because I'm not sure where this is going. I don't want to cut all my losses, right? Man, but as I found is going back to school, I got great advice. There's no lost time in the seminary. That is absolutely a true statement, even though at the time you don't buy into the argument. Whether you're there a week, a month, a year, 6 months, whatever it may be, you're a better man, you're a better Catholic man. I have friends calling me the very first week I'm in the seminary, they're calling me up. One of them's praying, said, man, where you at? And he said, I didn't want to tell him. I said, I'm down in New Orleans going to school, taking some classes. And he said, man, what? He said, man, isn't your business busy enough? I said, yeah, I'm just going to try it out. I didn't have the nerve to tell him. And another friend called me about a week later because he had heard, and he called up and he said, man, and he started to whisper like somebody may hear us. He said, are you in the seminary? I said, yeah, man. He said, does your girlfriend know? He said, do your buddies know? He said, heck, man, does anybody know what you're doing? He said, moreover, do they know who you are? He said, they're going to throw you out when it catches up with you. And I said, look, thank you for the morale, Dr. Morale. Thank you for that. And so, man, I stay, and I think during the summer I've run my gamut. And then I realized, you know what, I'm just going to stay for just one more semester, and then one more semester. And, I get ordained in 2009, right? I'm close to 50 years old at the time. I'm 60 now. Man, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I absolutely love what I do. And I'm sure the phone was ringing before. I simply didn't refuse to answer it. Don't touch him because it's him. I know what he's going to want, right? And I want a family, yada, yada, yada. And, man, as hard as it is going back to school at this age of my life when everybody's half your age, and it is challenging, doesn't change the fact at the end of the day, even if I wouldn't have finished or whatever, I'd be a better person for it. But I wouldn't change it for all the King's men now. It is different being on this end in a myriad of different ways. It's different when somebody comes and they're the antagonist. They don't believe, and they're giving you all the reasons why they don't believe. And I kind of laugh because you're just reading from the playbook that I read and written well before you got here. So it does help. I'm a lot more sympathetic to their plight. I do understand that it's just something hard to get your hands around, but it's a journey. It's not so much the destination, right? And so I do like bringing groups, like we have a group of about 60 that are here. Most of these have come because they've heard about it, read about it. I would imagine probably half or so probably believe, right? But there's the other half that's just not sure, because we live in a tangible world. If we can't touch it, kick it, feel it, we don't believe in it. So it does help when other faiths come here, because I've been a little bit of that. It helps when you come and you're a Thomas, because I've been that. It's enjoyable to meet people that believe already, because now I do believe. And I guess it's just been a wonderful gift to watch people get touched, even in the most simplest of ways. Okay, I've never, and let's just put it where it needs to be put. I've never seen the sun dance. My rosary's never turned to gold. I don't smell roses, but I'm also in a point in my life where I don't need those things either. From the fruits of it, you would know it. If you can get me to stop what I'm doing in the world that I was in and all the trappings that came with it to take up this lifestyle, I can just tell you from my heart of hearts, it's the real deal. And it may not be for everybody, and I get that. And that venerating Mary is not your thing. And I get that, and I think so does she. And moreover, I think her son gets it. But it really is interesting, because no matter probably which path you walked on, I've probably been on it at least a little while. So I'm very sympathetic to it, but it's very enjoyable to watch the good Lord work as he works. What's special about Medjugorje is, first and foremost, is the peace. It's tangible. You can feel it. You can touch it. It's got every walk of life. It's got every discipline. The nationalities from all over. Truly, we are children of God, right? No matter the language, the discipline, the country you came from, when that rosary is being prayed, or the mass is moreover is being prayed, and that knee's being bent, man, we're all facing and doing the same, saying that the same things and facing the right way. When you see people walk around with their rosaries, or the lines of confessions, and my brother priests that have been here in confession after confession after confession, I've been out 50 years, 40 years, 60 years, whatever it may be. The fruits of Medjugorje are the sacraments. The fruits of Medjugorje is the Eucharist coming to life. The fruits of Medjugorje is people going home and becoming the 72 disciples. The fruits of Medjugorje is Mother Church. The fruits of Medjugorje is the things that you take back and you go home and that are life enduring, not counting the things that you may bring home for other people. The little negative things, the little this or that or whatever, they said even greater things against our Savior. The fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, you need to take the time. If Christ lived in the day, let's be honest, you and I would have probably traveled to go see him. And we probably would have talked to his apostles. And if you had been traveling with me, I would have probably found somebody who's challenged or handicapped and said, well, if you cure that one, you got a 2-for-1 sale here. But I guarantee you, I would have found his mother, because moms are moms, and they love their children, warts and all. And so if I would have done it then, I needed to do it now. I can't very well cast an opinion on Medjugorje like I was doing beforehand without ever coming here, without ever speaking to it. That would be tantamount to saying that P.O. guy, I don't know if you had the wounds. Well, did you bother studying? Did you go by and see him? Did you go by and pray the Mass with him? Or did you just sit from the cheap seats? So the fruits of Medjugorje, the sacraments, the Eucharist, the confessions, the healing of hearts, the bringing people back to the church of every nation, every discipline, every language, that's Medjugorje.